You've got to do distribution. You've got to go launch more channels in Latin America. And in that moment, I guess if I had thought like me, the Latina that was raised with my parents, I would never have had the guts to do what I'm about to tell you I did. But I kind of made believe I was my old boss, Jerry Parenchio. And so I went in and I thought, what would Jerry do right now? And I thought, Jerry would ask him for money to start your own company. And I said, okay, Rupert, I'll launch all your channels for you if you loan me the money to start my own company. And he's like, well, how much money do you need? And I thought, I need $1 million, but what would Jerry Parenchio say? And he'd say, when you're gonna go raise money, ask for 5 times the money you need, because it takes just as much time to raise 5 times the money as 1 time the money. And so I asked him for $5 million. And it was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. He's like, okay. And so in 1994, I started my company with a $5 million loan from Rupert Murdoch, which in hindsight, I should have taken equity instead of a loan. But we'll talk about that later. That's the learning curve. So I spent the next few years of my life launching television channels in Latin America. And then luckily in 1998, Sony, which was one of my clients, bought Telemundo, the Spanish language network, and asked me to go run it. And I feel like one of the things that really worked for me, and I guess, again, I owe this a lot to my mentors, is that without knowing it, from my background as a writer and from my mentors, I had truly found my voice in my company. Meaning that all the things that had happened to me as a child, all of my experience, my dysfunctional family, all of my experiences with my bosses, I had really used to create a voice for my company. That at the time was a voice about being Latino in the US. It was a voice about Latin America. It was about everything that I grew up with and in. So it really wasn't hard for me to build a successful business, because when I would go meet with clients, I embodied the voice I was selling. Well, in the year 2000, I had a big life-changing experience. I had a little boy, Lucas, who's now 5 years old, that a lot of the people here have met. And I had the big major relationship of my life break up. And I realized that I had let a lot of my personal life fall through the cracks in my quest for greatness in my career. And I went away to a health spa. Don't you love that? I could afford a health spa by then. And I kept thinking, my God, if I could have anything right now, what would it be? And I thought, I wish I could go to therapy every day and work out my issues. I wish I could have a nutritionist to make me lose the 20 pounds I gained after having a baby. I wish I could work out every day. And Susan, I know you know this is true. I wanted a boob lift after breastfeeding. And truly, I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking, don't other women feel the way I do, that they hit a wall? And I came home, and I was reading Hans Christian Andersen to my son, and I read the story of the ugly duckling. And when I read the story, it said, the ugly duckling was always a swan all along, but didn't know it. And I thought, oh my God, that's a hit TV show, The Swan. And I realized that my voice at that moment in my life was no longer the voice of a Latina, but the voice of a woman in America that had had ups and downs and had had a lot of experiences. And once again, I went to Fox, the place where I began, where Rupert Murdoch had loaned me money because he knew me and I had made him money. And I pitched them the show, The Swan. And it was the second easiest thing I ever did. They bought the show in the room, and it's been the biggest hit of my career. It's airing in 48 countries around the world, and we're getting ready to start season 3 of The Swan, which I'm very proud to say. What I wanted to share with all of you of what I've learned as an entrepreneur, and the big learning curve for me in the last 5 years, and it's actually a very good metaphor with the swan. Sometimes when I'm working on the show, I get women on the show that at one point were very heavy. And then they lose a lot of weight, and they have a really hard time seeing themselves as thin. And I think as entrepreneurs, I know that's been a big learning curve for me, and I'm sure for many of you, where part of what drives you is pain. Part of what drives you is anger because somebody told you you couldn't do it. Sometimes what motivates you is just this incredible drive to succeed. And yet you're not there anymore. You're not the underdog anymore. You're not struggling anymore. And yet you can't get over it. It's hard for many of us to let go and go to a higher place. I know for me, my toughest job in the last 5 years is to hire people that are more competent than I am, because I want to micromanage and I want to take it over, and I think I'm the only one that can do it as well as I can do it. And I realize it is the same thing as losing weight and still seeing yourself in the same way. I think it's very important for us, especially for all of you here, to realize where you are and pat yourself on the back for where you are right now. It's taken all of you so much. I know firsthand the horrors of being an entrepreneur, of feeling alone, of feeling like you hit walls, of feeling like you don't know if you're going to have the money to continue your company or meet payroll every week. And what I've learned is that this hunter mentality that turned me practically into a man, I've had to slowly let it go. I have to go back to being a woman and to have faith that I will receive good things and that not everything I have to go out and get. That if I put out enough energy, the universe will repay me and will bring me something when I least expect it. I never thought I was ever going to do a show like The Swan. I never thought, even when I did it, that it was going to be the biggest hit of my life. I thought I was in a niche business. I was very happy in my niche business. I still love my niche business, because never give up your day job, your bread and butter business. But I had a blessing from all the work that I had put out there for years and years and years. And I very much want to share that with all of you, because to me, the two most important things I've learned are to be true to my voice, to know what is my brand and my voice, and that I have to embody that brand and that voice, and that I also have to learn to embrace the other parts of my life that I let fall through the cracks. And I hope that all of you will take some of that in and really know to stop and look at where you are in your life. I'm also very excited, because Susan knows this, that the next show I'm doing, which is really a dream for me of the last 11 years, is a show I'm doing about women entrepreneurs. It's called Ms. Mogul. And it's a show where, thank you, it's a show where I'm going to take 12 women in entrepreneurial businesses, give you the best mentor that's already been there, done that, and help you to take your business to the next level. And the woman that will win the competition is going to get $1 million angel funding. And the rest of the women are going to get mentorship and a lot of other little prizes. And we're going to help you embark in your own business. So keep your eyes peeled for Ms. Mogul. It's going to come out in the beginning of '06. And I very much wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much. It is an honor and a privilege to speak to all of you.